Coming up on OU Nightly, a government shutdown is looming. Find out how this may affect your wallet. Plus, a major change to a Norman intersection causing chaos. What you need to know.
Plus, we have some above average temperatures. I'm going to be breaking it down for you. This is OU Nightly.
Thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Emily Faith.
And I'm Kaylee Jo Hommel. As U.S. leaders still struggle to find common ground on a spending plan, a government shutdown is looming.
If that does happen, we're taking a look at how it could affect your pockets. CNN reporter John Lawrence has more.
Although inflation in the U.S. is easing from 4-decade highs, financial concerns are rising for many households.
I have to cut down on what I should eat, what I should buy, where I should go. Do I want to go out tonight?
According to a Bank of America survey shared exclusively with CNN, 67% of U.S. employees say the cost of living is increasing faster than their salaries. The study also found 64% of workers say they are stressed about their financial future, while 80% of people between 35 and 44 years old say they feel likewise.
We're forced to make all these bad choices and bad decisions just to live our lifestyles, so it's pretty sad.
A similar, albeit much bigger, situation about money flow is hovering over the Beltline.
Funding the government is one of the most basic fundamental responsibilities of Congress, and if the Republicans in the House don't start doing their job, we should stop electing them.
If a deal isn't made by the end of the week, the government will shut down. Among the potential impacts, active military members and Border Patrol agents will go without pay.
I'm looking at it through the lens, how do we prevent this shutdown from, or how do we minimize it from to 10 days instead of 10 weeks? And that starts now, not waiting and keep continuing the finger pointing game.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
According to a White House official, President Biden is broadly supportive of efforts to come up with a short-term spending deal that could help avoid a shutdown.
A big change to an intersection here in Norman is causing mixed emotions for residents. OU Nightly's Morgan Martin joins us live from Acre Street and Jones Avenue. Morgan, what have you seen today?
Well, I've seen a little bit of everything with the changes made to this intersection today. I've seen people stop when they don't have a stop sign, but I've also seen people not brake when they do have one.
What happens when a four-way stop becomes a two-way stop and no one stops? Norman residents noticed the change and want to know why it was made.
So it's just a problem waiting to happen.
The City of Norman's transportation engineer David Riesland says a study conducted by the city found the potential problem.
By being an all-way stop, it would allow eastbound traffic on Acre Street to back up over the railroad tracks. That's an incredibly dangerous thing to have occur.
Safety is the main priority, and the backups on the tracks can be seen in this aerial image from the Cleveland County Assessor's Office. Some residents saying it's a force of habit to stop, even without a stop sign. Many worried about the potential traffic jams. Others just irritated by the honking from drivers navigating the chaos. To combat those concerns, orange flags were placed on the stop signs along Jones Avenue.
Our general rule of thumb is when we make a change like that, we will leave the flags up for 6 months.
And by then, Riesland hopes the remnants of pavement markings where a stop sign once stood will be less visible too.
Now, it's only been 2 weeks since those stop signs were removed, so the city is expecting some buffer time for residents to adjust. Reporting in Norman, Morgan Martin, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Morgan. Last week, Norman got a taste of fall weather, but this week feels a little different.
OU Nightly meteorologist Lauren Brand is in the studio to give us a first look at the weather. Lauren, is this heat here to stay?
Yeah, that's right, ladies. We saw the first day of fall on Saturday, but looking at these current temperatures across the state, we aren't really feeling like fall. We have 91 degrees right here in Norman, just a degree cooler in Oklahoma City. And looking at the rest of the state, that's really what's going to be the same story for there. But as we go into tonight, we should start to see these temperatures cool down. We are going to be around 64 degrees here. If you're headed out tonight, you shouldn't have anything else to worry about. But coming up, I'm going to be talking about those warmer temperatures and your pumpkin patch forecast.
Thanks, Lauren. Today, the Oklahoma City Council picked a date for a special election. This would ask voters to approve a tax extension for a new arena downtown for the Oklahoma City Thunder. OU Nightly's Darby McCormick has more on the vote to extend the map for sales tax. Coming up in sports.
The federal government and 17 states, including Oklahoma, are suing Amazon. The Federal Trade Commission accusing Amazon of abusing its economic dominance and harming fair competition.
The complaint alleges the company unfairly promoted its own platform and services at the expense of third-party sellers. Amazon's general counsel is pushing back, saying Amazon's practices have instead encouraged competition.
Now developing a new ruling in former President Donald Trump's New York civil trial. OU Nightly's Victoria Anderson has the latest and the rest of today's headlines from the News Center.
The Trump real estate empire under fire today after a new ruling finds decades of fraud in its creation. A New York State court justice claims Trump deceived banks, insurers, and many others by over-evaluating assets and net worth, unable to secure major financing. The attorney general leading the lawsuit is seeking $250 million in penalties and a ban from Trump doing business in the state of New York. And today, the president makes history in Michigan as he walks the picket line with auto workers. Biden claiming he stands with the union's request for better pay and work conditions, while exchanging fist bumps in a powerful show of presidential support. This just 24 hours before former President Donald Trump is also set to visit with union members.
It's videos everywhere. The neighborhood. Witnesses in the neighborhood proved that my nephew did not come out of that car.
Some emotional words from a grieving aunt who was devastated after a judge's controversial ruling in Philadelphia. A judge drops all charges for a police officer who shot and killed 27-year-old Eddie Irizarry in a traffic stop. Body camera video shows the officer approaching the traffic stop with his gun drawn and shooting Irizarry several times. His defense claiming the victim's pocket knife looked like a gun. And the state's district attorney claiming they disagree with the judge's decision and plan to appeal. Emily, Kaylee.
Thanks, Victoria. Funeral arrangements have been set for a beloved Norman firefighter. Friends and family say Levi Wilkins died this weekend in a rock climbing accident after serving the city for 12 years.
Norman's mayor called Wilkins an exemplary leader and true hero who loved saving lives. Wilkins also battled kidney cancer in 2020.
His funeral is next Tuesday, October 3rd at the McFarland Memorial United Methodist Church in Norman.
Oklahoma Superintendent Ryan Walters reopens an investigation on Western Heights Public Schools, this time focusing on concerns around the hiring of a drag queen. They're looking at Shane Miernan, the principal of John Glenn Elementary School, who has openly had a drag persona in his off time. The administration says they will review the school district's hiring practices and Miernan's teaching certificate. Walters claims he is doing so to protect children from radical gender theory. Coming up, the fall season means certain allergens will be in the air. Tips to manage the autumn allergies.
Plus, OU Health Services is providing flu shots to students. How to schedule an appointment next. On campus, students are feeling fall early, and not just in the weather, but in their itchy eyes and runny noses. CNN reporter Mandy Gaither has tips on how to fight off those allergies.
It's that time of year again. The air is crisp, the leaves will fall, and autumn allergies may act up.
Things like stuffy nose, drippy nose, sneezing, itching of the nose, or maybe itching, redness of the eyes.
Allergist Matthew Rank with Mayo Clinic says allergens floating in fall air can also trigger asthma symptoms, but there are ways to gain control. Rank says to first try saline nasal sprays or rinses, over-the-counter non-sedating antihistamines, and nasal spray medications.
Each of those medicines works a little bit differently as far as how fast they work and how well they work. And some of them, particularly the nasal steroid sprays, it's a really good idea to think about 2 to 4 weeks ahead of when your allergy season typically is and getting it started.
If symptoms can't be controlled, Rank says it's time to see an allergy specialist who can work on other treatment options to help desensitize you to the allergens or find out what's causing the problem.
People that lose their sense of smell. This can happen from somebody who has severe environmental allergy, but that could be a sign that something else is going on.
Rank says the National Allergy Bureau website can also help.
And you can pick a counting station where they actually count the pollens close to where you live, and you can get some idea what's in the air currently.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Anyone using these rescue treatments repeatedly should go see their allergy specialist.
OU Health Services released today that if you missed the chance to get your flu shot last week, you can now book one online.
Influenza-like illness is highest in ages 5 through 24 at 29%. They have appointments on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 9 to 10:30 a.m., and it takes just 5 minutes.
For the first time since the pandemic, a popular restaurant chain is giving back.
How you can dine for a special cause. Next.
And it may be fall, but it definitely doesn't feel like it in terms of the temperatures. I'm going to have that forecast coming up in Maine weather. Well, welcome back to OU Nightly. Right now, we're taking a live look across campus right now. We have some clear blue skies, and students are on their way home from classes, starting to wrap up the day. We actually just hit the first day of fall on Saturday, but it's definitely not feeling like fall just yet. We're sitting around 91 degrees right now. Dew point sitting around 48 degrees. Feels just a little bit cooler outside, but still does not quite feel like fall. But looking at this past month for September, we can see that we've had a lot of above average temperatures. There's been a few where we've seen some below average temperatures, but for the most part, we've really seen above average temperatures. We've also seen some dry conditions as well. Looking at your drought monitor, we've had some rain in the past couple weeks, but really you could see it hasn't put in quite a dent with our drought monitor. But looking at temperatures in the upcoming weeks, we are unfortunately still going to be seeing some above average temperatures. So if you're looking for that fall weather, it's not in store just quite yet. We are still going to be seeing those above average temperatures, and along with these dry conditions and temperatures, this is going to affect our fall foliage. So right here in Oklahoma, we are not really seeing any sort of changes just quite yet. Over in towards Denver and Colorado and all the mountains, they're starting to see those peak fall foliage, but right here we aren't really seeing that yet. But as for our lows for tonight, we are going to be dropping down a little bit, around 64 degrees, a little bit cooler up here in Guyman. But as for tomorrow, we are going to be right back up in those 90s and across the state as well. But for the rest of your 7-day, we are going to be, unfortunately, still in those 90s. We could start to see just a little bit of a cool down as we make our way into Saturday and Sunday, just in time for Parents' Weekend. But unfortunately, we are going to be staying within those temperatures. But what do you ladies think about these temperatures so far?
Well, it's definitely hot out there.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to pumpkin patch weather. Lauren, when are we going to get to see that?
Yeah, unfortunately, we're not seeing that quite just yet. We are going to be, if you want to go to the pumpkin patches, it's not really quite time to put on those sweaters. If you are headed to Starbucks and want that pumpkin frappuccino or whatever you want, definitely get ice. Do not be getting any hot coffees quite yet, because we are not really in the mood just quite yet. We are still seeing some of those warmer temperatures. But are you guys getting ready for game day on Saturday?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What are some ways that students can maybe beat the heat? Just some reminders for them, since it's going to be pretty warm on Saturday.
Yeah, unfortunately it is, guys, but making sure that you have plenty of water to drink that you bring out to the games. It is going to be a little bit warmer as you head towards the field, but as you sit up further, it might not be quite as hot, but definitely making sure that you have those water breaks and making sure you get just a little bit of shade will be perfect. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Lauren. Now, a Chili's in the OKC Metro is taking on the challenge of giving back to kids in need. The Chili's restaurant in Norman has introduced its Create a Pepper St. Jude fundraiser for the first time since the COVID-19 shutdown, and is looking to give back as much as they can.
We're all about sharing that Chili's love. This is just a small way to give back. We do it 1 month of the year to really drive it. But we do amazing things during that time. And I feel like it really brings the community together as well. We have fun doing it here in the restaurant, you know. Drives a little bit of sense of purpose for the, the shifts that we work.
With the fundraiser lasting till the end of this month, Chili's is looking to raise as much money as possible before time runs out.
OU men's and women's basketball found out their conference schedules today.
OU Nightly's Darby McCormick has more on the most exciting matchups for the Sooners.
OU football's defense continues to dominate, but Brent Venables says they can get even better. And 2 OU Heisman Trophy winners played Monday night. Stick around to find out what new record Jalen Hurts broke and more in sports. Hello, I'm Darby McCormick, and it's time for sports. The city of OKC just made great strides in creating a new home for the Thunder. The city council, in a 7-2 majority vote, plans to build a new arena for the OKC Thunder that keeps the team in the city until 2050. The current Thunder Arena is the smallest in the NBA by square footage, and at 21 years old, is within range for being the oldest as well. This plan will be brought to OKC residents in a special election set for December 12th. After a victory in Cincinnati, the Sooners' defense continues to shine. Oklahoma currently allowed the least amount of points through the first 4 games since 1992. Regardless, Coach Venables is looking for improvements.
That we've accomplished nothing but getting better, and that should happen. This is a developmental game. The more you play, the better you should get. And so don't want to downplay it, but man, we're going to have a lot stiffer tests along the way. And again, I got long-term vision of what we need to do to have an elite, consistent defense.
Monday Night Football was a Sooner fans' field day this week as 2 of OU's Heisman winners faced off. By the end of the Buccaneers and Eagles game, it was Jalen Hurts that took Sooner magic to a whole new level, though. Not only are the Eagles now one of 3 undefeated teams in the NFL, Hurts holds the record for most rushing touchdowns by an NFL QB in the first 50 games. OU men's and women's basketball schedules came out today as they boogie through the Big 12 one last time. Things to look out for is the final Bedlam matchup in the Big 12, and former head coach Kelvin Sampson returns to LNC with the Houston Cougars. In Jenny Baranchek's 3rd season as OU's head coach, the reigning conference champions start their season facing Big 12 newcomer UCF and play conference runner-up OSU on February 24th. Today, Oak Tree National was announced as a host for the U.S. Senior Open Championship in 2027. Located in Edmond, Oklahoma, this will be the 3rd time Oak Tree has hosted a USGA championship. Emily, Kaylee Jo.
Thanks, Darby. Caught on camera, one bird ruffled some feathers this week.
An officer's first foot chase video you'll want to see next.
I'm Abby Hollinsworth at the OU Nightly Update Desk. The Western Heights School District just rebutted to Superintendent Ryan Walters' investigation. In hiring Principal Shane Mernon, they conducted a felony background check. The school adds his teaching certificate is also renewed and signed by Walters himself. Western Heights says no funds have ever been used on, quote, drag queens, as alleged by the state education department. Kaylee, Emily.
Thanks, Abby. Hey, Kaylee Jo, why did the chicken cross the road?
Emily, I don't know. Why did it?
Well, in Arkansas today, it was trying to escape an arrest. A Jonesboro resident called the police on a chicken who refused to move from their front porch.
An officer in training reported to the scene and experienced his first on-foot chase. The chase only lasted a few minutes before the chicken was finally caught and returned safely to its home.
Kaylee, I could not imagine having that be your first day on the job. You chase a chicken.
I know, right? But I guess we really got to see who rules the roost with this one.
That's right. That chicken really tested the officer's endurance. Well, October is right around the corner, but it still feels like summer outside.
Let's check in one last time with OU Nightly meteorologist Lauren Brand about what the rest of this week will look like. Lauren?
That's right, ladies. If you need anything to do this upcoming weekend with your parents, as Parents Weekend is coming up, why not head to the pumpkin patch? We aren't going to really be feeling like fall. We are going to be around 91 degrees, but if anything you want to do with parents, might as well go to the pumpkin patch. But as we look at your 7-day forecast, the rest of your week is kind of looking the same. We aren't really going to be cooling down all that much, but we are going to have a clear rest of your week. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Lauren, and thank you for watching OU Nightly. I'm Emily Faith.
And I'm Kaylee Jo Hommel. Be sure to watch OU Nightly live weekdays at 4:30. Good night.